So, picture this, a 1930s adaptation of a 1929 anti-war novel by Eric Maria Remarque wins Best Picture. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Picture This, the Best Picture movie review show hosted by the person who's seen the least amount of them. It is week 3, and we have hit the 30s. My name is Alex, and Aladdin, just so you know, is mid. With me is a now very furious Jack Finchuck. Matthew Chen would also be furious if he were here or if he could feel that kind of emotion, which I don't think that he can. Actually here with us, though, is Billie Eilish superstar Kaleb Coho.
There should have been a sequel to this movie. What the fuck?
And yeah, there is. And rounding out this uncomfortable foursome is method acting apologist Adelaide Spence.
Am I on meth? Is that what you said?
No, you are.
Yeah,
you probably are.
You are.
Yep.
It's a fact.
All right. Before we get into the show, the factual moral compass of this show, Matthew Chen is not here.
Yeah.
Which means that we have to get our revenge somehow. And for us, that means picking out a movie, just each that Matthew likes, and we're gonna yell about how that movie's bad for just 30 seconds. So I don't know if everybody picked their movie.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, Adelaide, do you have a movie that you want to yell at Matthew Chen about?
Right now? I thought it was later in the show.
No, we're gonna do it now because this is actually gonna be an interesting show. Because I think this is the first episode. I think just for the audience that I think we actually all kind of or really enjoyed this movie.
Yes.
This is going to be a fairly positive, probably talkative episode.
It's nice to finally watch a Best Picture winner that we like.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's
kind of crazy.
So Spencer,
I got it.
You have it? Okay. So everybody has one. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna just put 30 seconds up on this here clock, and then we're just gonna yell. We're just gonna yell. We're gonna reveal the movies in a second, but just for fun, just for 30 seconds, we're gonna yell because Matthew's not here about a movie. And go.
Why would pulling his hair do anything to make him actually cook? He's a fucking rat. Why is a rat in the kitchen? It makes no sense. I'm glad Gusteau is dead. Gusteau was a fat fuck and a bad cook. Remy is a hack. Linguini is a piece of shit that is coasting off of his rat tails, and he can't even cook good food. Anton Ego should have put a flamethrower in the kitchen and burned Gusteau to the ground. Fuck Ratatouille. He's pulling hair. That's kinky.
Look at that. It's over. Wow. Look at that. That's crazy. All right. What movie did everybody pick?
I said Ratatouille.
Ratatouille.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. I didn't watch One Time in Hollywood.
Okay, yeah, that movie's garbage. Jack, what did you?
I picked Chicago because that movie's shit.
Fuck you.
Oh, okay. I did Tenet because that movie is not worth anything.
It is bad.
I didn't pick a movie I didn't like. I picked a movie that I love and said a bunch of bullshit about it just to fuck with Matthew.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a choice. Right. So, I said,
find his letterboxd. I don't fucking know what he likes and dislikes.
He gave the right way. He gave the right to Skywalker Force. So I didn't do this again.
He gave the. I think we should just kick him off the show for good for that take. Period.
I mean,
period.
He talks the least. We'll talk about it later. The point is, Matthew's not here, but what we did, we actually watched a movie. I think together.
All of us watched it together.
Yeah, all of us watched it together, which was very sweet. We watched All Quiet on the Western Front, which is the subject of our. I mean, there will be some criticism, but it's good. It's just a really good movie, and just because someone that might watch this show maybe hasn't seen it, it's weird because the concept of the show is you watch it and then
watch us talk about it.
Yeah. If you want a spoiler review. We go now to the person that we all know is the plot person of all of us. We go now to live from the glasses are on. It's time we go to the plot boy segment. Take it away.
See, you'd think I'd have a lot to say, but this is about war, so we're going to be very respectful. Fucking no, we're not. You kidding me? Fucking All Quiet on the Western Front. The year is 1930, and we are in the Great Depression, and my depression is real great watching this one. We go back to the country, I believe it's Germany. where there's some German professor man telling him how cool it is to go die for your country in one of the weirdest scenes I've ever seen. Says they keep saying the words "Save the Fatherland." Whoo! Look at him go.
I honestly think that movie works. That scene works better when you realize the context of the film. I think again, I think I was the only one who was going in knowing the plot of the film and starting as this very like gung ho propaganda pro war.
No, I understand.
Works great.
I understand. It's a great scene. I have to make jokes where I can. This movie's sad.
When we were watching it together, you were all like, "Oh my god, this is like a comedy? What?" It's like, no, this is great setup.
No, it's true. It is true. That scene is quite funny. We laughed very hard. Paul. I think Paul the German is the main character of this one.
Paul the German.
Paul the German. Something German. Paul German. Paul Atreides. We're gonna call him Atreides.
Paul Germany.
Paul German Atreides. They joined the second company, and they go to war. And they are in their bunker. Yeah, we go to like the bunker, barrack, bunker. And they're. And the guy walks in, was their mailman, and they're like, "Yo, you're our mailman. What's up? Welcome to the frat house of the army." And he's like, "I'll kill you all where you stand if you don't salute, you fucking brats." And this movie changes tones fast. Beats the shit out of him. He's abusive as fuck. He's like just verbally abusive as shit to Paul and his boys. And then I think they all get fucked up in camp. And then the thing happens. We get to our first thing right away at night. That's the guy. Someone dies like during night training, and that's the one where that's the one where he blows up and all that's left on the thing is his hands.
No, that's later. That's later. That's later. The first one is the first one is the guy that's like, "I'm blind, I can't see anything."
I'm blind. That guy. Which was seriously, that's my MVP. Cue the MVP song.
You're great, yeah.
The MVP. Welcome to the MVP podcast of the podcast. My pick for the acting MVP of this one is that guy. I don't know his name. I didn't take the time to look up who he was. I couldn't find him on a cast if I tried. But the guy screaming, "I'm blind." Mint. Oh, well, there we go. Walter Rogers
is Ben.
There you go. Walter Rogers, MVP of this movie, and he's only in like one good scene. MVP.
I don't know if that's him. I
it is. Ben is can't see.
Okay.
Ben can't see.
Can't see. Wow. What a choice.
Better than, I'm not going to choke. Never mind.
Ben.
Anyways.
Who else is? Do you all have different MVPs, right?
Yes, I have a factually different MVP.
Who's your MVP?
My MVP is the old grizzled the soldier that every company should have, which is the old man that's been there for 5 years too long. I can't what's his name? Louis Wolheim as Kaczynski. Who is the guy that where's Kaczynski? Oh, he went out to go get food because we don't have any food. They didn't send us any this week. And he's just constantly out foraging for food, stealing it from the enemy, going out into the wilds and bringing back tomatoes. And he's like, "All right, here." But you have to trade him. You have to trade him different. Oh, you just got here. Do you have cigarettes? Do you have clean clothes? Do you have boots? I'll take your boots. You want chocolate? I'll take your boots. What do you got? And everyone's like, yeah, food, perfect, awesome, dope. And he's just a great grizzled old guy. Just give me that.
I will say, speaking of that, I will talk about my MVP, who is not an actor. It is Boots. Genuinely, I know you're thinking. I love this movie. I think that the actual storytelling of the journey of, I forget the dude's name. Is it Peter?
Voiced by Danny Trejo, right? Danny Trejo voices.
Yeah, exactly. I think Franz's Boots are genuinely some of the best storytelling in this movie, which I think, considering the overall quality that I hold it to, I think is a big esteem. We'll talk about later. I think Louis Milestone, one of the best director winners ever. Period. End of statement.
Can't wait till we like rank those alongside it, and he comes in like the 40s range.
Caleb Boatman, you bitch.
We won't rank. Should we? Should we have been doing that all along?
We'll
Well, this
come
is
with
the
games
first
for us
Best
to do.
Picture winner to also win Best Director.
This is
I mean,
the
true.
first one.
True.
Yeah.
So that's a podcast in the podcast, the directing rank. But we'll save that later. Anyway, Jack, who's your MVP real quick before I move on with my library and Aussie glasses?
It's Paul. I thought the scene where he went back, like when he was on leave back home, and he was speaking to the classroom. I thought that scene was incredibly powerful. It brought me pretty close to tears, actually. But I thought his performance was fantastic throughout the entire thing.
Oh, we had 3 viewers and we've driven them all away.
Dope. So then they find out there's no food. And they haven't eaten since breakfast, and that's when Cat comes in, and he comes back with a fucking hog.
Whoa.
And they all have to pay with soap and cigarettes to get the hog. That's that scene. And then they go to the trenches, and they have to restring barbed wire. And that's when Ben gets blinded by shrapnel, and runs into live fire, which is the first time in this movie where I went, "Oh shit, guys!" And
there were multiple times in this movie where we said, "Oh yeah, this is pre-code," because it gets fucking gnarly. It gets insane
gnarly.
what they get away with.
You thought that the Patriot was brutal when a cannonball took a man's head off. Then get ready, kids. Okay, so.
Is that what it was like when
I'm sick, and I'm still here with the energy of the madman. Woo! Okay, so they're in the bunker, bombardment, they go to the trenches. See, most of this is army fighty, plot shit. We're just gonna roll through the plot, army shit. And then they have to go to the front the next day, and they talk about causes of war and the reasons why they have war in general. It's a great scene. Bar, shut the fuck up. And they talk about the geopolitics and stuff like that. It's good, but like when I'm doing a plot recap, you don't want to hear about it, so it's fine. And then they talk about, instead of war, the leaders of Europe should have to fight it out with clubs in their underwear. Spence is absolutely in favor of that. I think we all would be. Anyway, then Himmelstas shows up at the front, and he's forced to go over the top of the second company, and they shoot his ass.
Yeah.
Right away.
Yeah.
Killed, bang. And then this is the part where we were all laughing and then stopped laughing promptly, which is they fight in the graveyard, and then Paul fights a French guy in a hole and stabs him, and he's bleeding out, and we're sitting there the whole time, and he's like yelling at him, and we were making really, really insensitive jokes.
I want to point out, I was not laughing at this. I was just enjoying the film as it was meant to be.
We were laughing. We were making fun of the dead guy. Spencer made a joke about the dead guy.
Because here's the thing, and I'm gonna interrupt, and I don't usually interrupt the plot boy segment because honestly, I've seen the movie, I know what it's about. This scene goes on forever,
way too long,
way too long, and I don't just mean like because there's no like hard cut to like a different thing that's happening. There's like a fight in like a mortar shell like pit. He like grabs a French soldier, stabs him in the chest repeatedly. The guy does not die, so you're shit at being a soldier. At least the killing people part of it.
Yep.
And then the guy's alive all goddamn night. The guy, you stabbed him here, and then you missed every artery.
Don't forget. Don't forget. He goes down into the puddle and grabs
I was
water.
Getting to that. Okay, there's you know that turbid water that just collects in like just random holes in the ground, and it's like the incorrect color. It's frothy. You know what I mean? It has bubbles. The freaking Paul, in all of his brilliance, goes to that turgid water, grabs some of it with his filthy hands that he's that are covered in the man's blood he's about to like hand feed this water to. There's no way those hands are clean. There's no way this water is drinkable. And he goes, "Here, bro."
This man's gonna die of dysentery before his
You missed a step. First, he grabs it in his like stinky ass like BO handkerchief.
Yeah,
squeezes it into his hands, and then he fucking cups it into his mouth.
Yep.
Yeah, you're gonna give the guy the infection that's gonna kill him before your freaking stab wounds do. And by the way, your stab wound should have done the trick like many times over.
So true.
And then he does this whole freaking monologue about why didn't you do that? Like it doesn't like it.
I'll take care of your family and your parents and your mother and your mother's parents.
All right, your family, and then loots him, and then loots him for the address. That's in this movie.
Yeah, it's a wild scene.
And it's fucking great, and it's so good.
And then Paul gets hurt. They take him to a hospital, with Crop. And then Crop gets his leg cut off, and he doesn't find out about it until they're sitting there. And he's like, "Yeah," he's like, "I can't really scratch my leg. Can you scratch my leg for me or some shit?" And then the dude's like, "What leg?"
He's like,
the second time in the movie,
he's like, "How could your toes hurt if they're?" Oh,
that's the thing. And for the second time in this movie, we were all like, "Don't pan down. Do not listen, film. Do not pan down to that guy's legs." Because that dude definitely doesn't have at least one of them. Like, don't pan down. And then it's just like the slowest, like, you know it. Like, and you're like, oh, that's a shame. That's a real shame. Like,
it's a real shame.
This guy was otherwise pretty cool.
Hey, sorry, Crop, you're missing your leg. And then he goes to the bandaging ward. And he's like, "I'm gonna come back alive. I'm gonna do it." And he comes back out, and Crop's like all sad. And he's like, "What's up, buddy?" And he's like, "I only have a leg." And then they let him go. They furlough Paul back to his family. And everyone is like, super like, "Oh yeah, the war, blah blah blah." And he's just like, "Oh yeah, this sucks dick being here." And he goes to the classroom where he's recruited, and his professor is doing the same patriotic rah go to war, boys. And Paul's like, "Oh no, don't go to war because it fucked me up." And his professor's like, "You're an unpatriotic swine. Get out of my classroom." And he calls him a coward. And he's so angry he goes back to the war. And he's met by everyone again. And then Cat
gets his shin met by everyone. He's met by like a guy. And the guy's like, "Oh, is this the second company?" He's like, "Yeah, what's left of us." And it's nobody he knows. And he sits down and he's like, "Well, is anybody left?" And he's like, "The old guy's here."
Yeah, well, Cat got his shin broken when a bomb drops on him. Or the bomb drops on an aircraft. So Paul carries him to a hospital and then finds out that a second explosion on the way there killed him. And then in the last scene, Paul's the only one left, and he's on the front line, and he's sitting there, and we all go, "Movie, don't do it. Movie, don't do it." Butterfly shows up, and Alex goes, "Please don't be it." Alex goes, "Please don't let this be it." And Paul climbs up over the front line to try and touch a butterfly and get shot and killed, and that's the end of All Quiet on the Western Front.
Stop.
Okay,
you're giving this.
The actual final shot is honestly really beautiful. Like, it's gonna happen, but he sees like the first sign of like truly pure life on the other side of his like little trench, and you see him reach his hand out, and then he cut to a sniper who was like pointing at him, and as his hand's out to get the butterfly, it just falls.
Well, that's not the last shot. The last shot is a way too long shot of a cemetery.
No. The last shot. I thought this is what Spence was going with. The last shot is the second company at the start of the film marching forward, and then where they're marching slowly in the background slowly fades to a cemetery with like a bunch of.
And he looks back, like you see him. He turns around when it's so. This movie's great. This movie's so fucking good. It's so fucking good.
I want to know what All Quiet on the Western Front 2, The Road Back.
We have to watch
Electric Boogaloo looks like.
We have to watch it.
Coho, you missed the most important part of the movie. The only time women are in this movie.
Oh, this is a weird scene.
We'll get no. We're gonna get there because I have a whole thing for this.
This movie has like two dips in pacing, and that's one of them.
No, let's do this now. I thought we were gonna do it later. Let's do this now. somewhere in the middle, before Paul gets sent to the injury room, to the Ayres and Bad, the second company encounters women.
And they're the only women who are in this movie.
They encounter women just like living their lives.
I think they're like Swedish, maybe.
I imagine trying to evade.
French.
They're French women trying to, I imagine, evade German soldiers, because statistically that's what happened in this war. At least I think. The men then tried to seduce them with bread.
That came out of the water.
That came out of the water.
Water.
The dude just pulls a full loaf of bread from the water. It's like a giant fucking baby Ruth. It's like, hey,
I mean, like
bread?
a full. I don't just mean like a slice of bread. This man pulled out a full loaf of bread. He was wearing shorts a second ago. These men are bathing. These French women just stroll up and they're like, "Hey, ladies, what's up?" And it's gross. It's gross.
It is.
But they somehow get these French women to prostitute themselves for ass bread. And also
soggy butt bread, boys.
We call that a yeast infection.
Don't worry, it's not just ass bread. This full-grown man, also pulled out a bottle of wine from probably the same place he was holding the bread.
Which leads us to our next segment, How Gay Was My Valley. Spence, hit the song. Welcome back to How Gay Is My Valley, the podcast of the podcast. I'm your host, Caleb Coho. Joining me, as always, is my co-host, Adelaide Spence.
Gay.
And the co-host that replaced Adelaide Spence because they're a bitch and left, Alex Martinez.
Hey, how
So, on today's segment of How Gay Was My Valley, we talked about All Quiet on the Western Front. How Gay Is My Valley started when we were watching the movie, and within the first 20 minutes we go, is this gayer than Wings? And we went, a lot of dudes making out this movie.
Most of this movie, not super gay. First time is they get sent to boot camp and they're just like, hey, why are you here?
Asses out.
Grabs his face, just fucking kisses him on the mouth. He's like, I don't know, dude. Like,
they see each other. They make out in the barracks. Ass cheeks are out in this movie, and they are able to fit.
The changing scene in the army base is like men putting their legs up in the air, taking their pants off in the most absurd way possible. Like, it's so, oh my god. And listen, I'm not saying that being in the army is gay, because it might be, but I can't. I've never done it, so I can't. I wasn't in the German forces at the time. I can't say if they were gay or not. What I can say is that these soldiers specifically were very gay.
They were very gay. Sliding some bratwurst with some sauerkraut, yeah.
And all I'm saying is the evidence is supported later in the movie by the fact that they're able to shove entire loaves of bread and bottles of wine up their assholes.
But also, let's not forget. So the soldiers, they want revenge on Himmelstock. He's being a shitty leader and not let them go on leave. So what happens? They trip him, tie him up, rip his pants off.
They find him when he's drunk, trip him, and tear his clothes off, and then leave him in a shallow
big old
pond.
fucking stick and just
they don't just leave him in they don't just leave him in like a muddy hole.
It's a shallow pond.
Well, yeah, it's a shallow pond. He could have drowned. He didn't. They trip him. They put like a thing over his body to like make sure he can't move. Then they all grab sticks and whip him. Now, I'm not like, listen, in the Broadway melody, two women fully like kiss on the lips and sleep in the same bed.
But they're also sisters.
Pretty gay. That's pretty gay.
No,
they said they were sisters.
They say
they were sisters.
They are sisters.
That's what we're saying.
They also like traded guys somewhere in the middle of the movie. It's kind of gay.
Yeah,
it could be gayer. We're gonna set that aside.
Hell yeah, Bar. Hell yeah.
For finding your boss, whipping him just because he was a dick to you like that one time.
Like, paddling your boss because he was a dick.
All I'm saying is that
I don't know if that's a good time.
Admund and Antle have threatened to All Quiet on the Western Front. Me, I only now understand what that means.
Now here,
so
that I think you're all ignoring some other scene. You're ignoring one other scene, and that is a scene post French women, where these men are walking around like in like screwball comedy trench coats with nothing underneath. Then as they're leaving the French women's house, I'm the only one that was paying attention to the scene.
No, I remember the scene.
As they all leave the house and leave like the shot of like someone's front room, as they exit the house, their arm comes back into frame and they hang up their screwball comedy trench coats just one by one.
Mm-hmm.
They walked home together naked.
Nude.
Completely nude. They're so comfortable.
Buck ass nude.
I'm not saying that's gay. What I am saying is that as an aggregate of kissing each other full on in the mouth, like ultra aggressively tearing not only their own clothes but also the clothes of their superiors, the placement of bread and or wine. This is, and I'm just gonna say it, I'm not gonna suggest it, I'm just gonna say it, this is the gayest movie that we have watched so far.
I could not agree more. I think right now we put All Quiet on the Western Front number 1 on How Gay Is My Valley, which now makes the new ranking, I believe. 1 All Quiet on the Western Front. Did we say 2 Wings and then 3 the Broadway Melody? Or
no, 2 is the Broadway Melody.
Who was the Broadway
You are
Melody?
right. So it is number 1. The new ranking for All Gay Is My Valley. Number 1, All Quiet on the Western Front. 2, the Broadway Melody. 3 Wings.
So Cavalcade is gonna be really gay if we keep
Cavalcade.
this trend going.
If this trend's going, Cavalcade better be flamboyant as fuck.
I better see some like fucking.
Dick. Oh, fair. So that's it. The
Okay,
song.
Dick then fuck.
All right, back
Thank
to
you for coming to this part of the show. Great. Is that okay? So that's generally the plot of All Quiet on the Western Front.
Yep.
I know we spent a lot of time on the gay stuff, but it's only because that's a lot of it.
There's a lot of gay stuff.
There's a lot of gay stuff. There's a lot of broiness.
There's only so much fun you can have with like a really harrowing war film.
True.
Yeah,
But
this movie's
we made it work.
depressing, kind of. Like these movies. This movie, like a lot of it, is just like sitting in your trench and being like, "Is that a rat? I'm hungry. Hungry enough to eat a rat?
Basically, yeah.
Not yet."
Like,
But
this is
soon.
the first film where I see it and I'm like, yeah, I understand why people liked it, quality or not. Like, I get it. I think this is when the Oscars are like, no, it's actually like celebrate good films.
This is the best film we've seen for this show so far.
Yeah.
I think yes, I agree. But I'm saying I think we should probably punt that discussion until we get later in the show because that's probably the
Well,
last thing we talk
but it's
about.
not fair to the other movies that we've watched so far that we've been sitting here going 1 star. Like, yeah, we'll do the rankings later, but like,
Oh, fair. I mean, if we're talking about the show, if we're gonna talk about the movie.
yeah, the movies. Let's talk about the movie. Like, here's the thing: it's depressing.
It's
an anti-war film, which is notoriously very hard to make because you end up just like making the war look dope. Like, my favorite war movie is Defiance, a movie that is mostly like being sick in a forest when you're like avoiding the war, but half of it is also following like Liev Schreiber being like, "I'm gonna kill Nazis." And this isn't that really, but it's not as terribly dissimilar. It makes war look like a bummer, which it
True.
kind of is.
Yeah, I will say most of my favorite war movies, because I hate war movies. Hate them. The ones I like the most typically are ones that are not about the war and about people involved in the war. And are usually people who hate what's happening, i.e. The Patriot. The Patriot
Damn that man.
The Patriot with Jason Isaacs. That is probably my favorite war movie ever. Because it is so fucking anti the idea of war while also kicking the shit out of people who deserve to have the shit kicked out of them. Which are British people. I said it.
Joe
Fuck
Farrelly?
Fuck you, British
Bitch.
people. He beat you twice.
I don't know if it's the position of this show that I mean that's factual. It did happen. Sorry,
Yeah,
Joe.
we beat you twice.
Joe Farrelly is bitch, confirmed.
I'm gonna get us away from this line of topic somehow.
All Quiet on the Western Front. I'll say this. I think the movie is good. I enjoy it. I think it is very, very long. In the sense that it is 2 hours and 15 minutes. I'm glad that it's 2 hours and 15 minutes with sound. That we watched the 2.5 hour non-sound one. So glad we didn't do that. I think cutting this movie by like 25 minutes would have made it better. I think there's a lot of stuff that you can trim out of this movie that doesn't necessarily need to be in this movie that only feels like redundancies. But on the whole, I will say I like Louis Milestone's direction a lot. I think there's a lot of highlight moments that I would consider being really great moments in film that would make this worthy of this award. I can't really point to any bad performances. I can't also really point to any amazing performances, hence why no one was nominated for an Oscar, because no one deserved to be nominated for an Oscar, because no one in this movie is pinnacle of acting. They're all good.
Yeah.
But like I think this is 1917 in 1930. It's the technical achievement with good storytelling, and the director is recognized because there's no one worthy of mentioning on the acting team.
I would say that I think that Lou Ayres, amazing, fucking really good performance in singing that actual range. I also want to shout out Ben Alexander as Franz. He's supporting role. He's dead like an hour into the movie, but he's fucking great when he's there.
That's the one that's like, hey, take my boots when I die.
Yeah,
and the real
and then the reveal is the guy's walking out of the place with his boots, and that's how you know he died. And you're just like, yo, Taika Waititi.
I see what you did there.
Took that scene, made it better, but took that scene.
The use of boots in this, because they keep cutting back to like people in boots, and you're like, anyway, that guy's dead now. Someone else took that guy's boots.
Lots of boots.
It's also kind of a dick move to take off a guy's foot but still leave him with. It's kind of a dick move movie. Like I don't know if they did that in real life, but like giving him two boots and him only having like.
We'll find out in about 10 years of Best Pictures.
Here's the thing. I think it's the point of the movie is to show like the depths a human can go through when they're in war. And I think fully just being like, you only need one and you don't need both. They're mine now. You can't do anything because you can't walk. Fuck you, bye. Like, I think that's a really just like straightforward and honest thing. And then we see as that happens to a lot of different people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to champion this movie is like, again, it's not perfect. I think that
there's two long stretches of the movie that I would cut out.
I think it's the meeting the women, I think, is very much unneeded. I don't need the ass spread. And when Paul goes to the hospital, that can be like 2 scenes. It doesn't need to be 20 minutes.
Well, when Paul goes home, you don't really need it.
You only need the professor. That's like
you only need the bit with the professor.
Yeah.
This whole bit with the mom
with his mother, and the goodbye with his mother.
No, you don't need that. I will be honest. You only need the part because you're not hanging out with his mom before he goes. So like
you
the
meet his mom in this scene. Like
the first 2/3 of the movie are like for me almost perfect. I think that they're really great. The second you hit the women and you go down, it's like it grinds to a halt. And there's amazing shit in that last third, but it needs to be cut down.
I think All Quiet on the Western Front could have been an hour and 30 minutes, and I would have been very happy. There is so much of this movie that does not need to be there, that serves no point and no purpose to it. Which is my big issue. That's going to be the thing you will hear me say for a lot of these. There will be a decade of movies that we hit where I will literally be sitting here for all of them going, why the fuck wasn't this 80 minutes instead of 250 minutes? It's like, this is too long. So
well, yeah, but I've been saying like, I think I definitely said it for Wings, and I'm pretty sure I said it for Broadway Melody. Like, this movie needs like a sharp pair of scissors. Like,
what's funny is the Broadway Melody is one of the shortest movies to ever win Best Picture.
And I would cut so much of it out. That movie, it'd be a short by the time I was done with it. That movie would be a short by the time I was done with it. And this one would be like 150, maybe like 140.
I think legitimately this could be 135. Like
if it were like 140, 5-star movie. Like if it were just the Second Company at War, this might be like the best movie that we might have reviewed for this whole time. But instead we've got ass bread, butt wine,
weird women ogling and prostitution, and long stretches of nothing happening that serve no purpose to the story.
That is just all of Wings, though.
I mean,
it's more of the stuff we didn't like about Wings.
It's Wings. Wings has more heart than this movie in certain areas, but I think All Quiet on the Western Front is just a better movie, like all around.
That's fair.
Wings if Wings got acting nomination, I'd be like, oh yeah, I guess. And then, but this one we're like, oh, that was good, that was good, that was good, that was good. Anything great? The directing was good. I like the movie, but it was fine. Weird aggregate score here. Is this like a good anti-war film? Like, is this like is it enough of a bummer? Because what is it? The thing you were telling us, Spence? Give us that sweet quote again.
I forgot where it was, but I basically someone said that you cannot have an anti-war film. It's impossible because by having anti-war, you need some form of like extravagancy of the war itself. I think this is a film which fully counters that argument because none of it I think is glamorous. I think basically every one of its like big sweeping shots, and there are some really impressive shots here, far from glamorized war. It's not even fun or interesting. It's just people fucking dying. And I think it all culminates in like again like that classroom speech that Paul has at the end of like, I've gone to war, I've seen how they are lying to you. This is not the history that they've been promised.
Honestly, the professor should be up there for outstanding performance. He's like, Paul, thank goodness you're here. Actually, I was just gonna tell him that they should go to war, defend the fatherland, and be heroes. What do you think, Paul? You want to tell him about it, Paul? And he's like,
What do you
He's like,
nah.
no, don't do that. And then he's just like, no, get out of here, fucking coward traitor. Get out of my face.
Paul, you're at the war, the front. You're at the front. You're fighting, the good fight. They tell him about it, and he's like, basically tells him like, look left, look right, you'll all die. None of you will survive. You're all toddlers. And then because Paul's class looked like adults, kind of, but they were all effectively 17, 18 ish.
Yeah,
maybe?
we said they were somewhere 17, 18.
Yeah, 17, 18. But then Paul comes back home. And they look like toddlers. They look like 14 years old, and they're like, "Come on, sign up for war." And he's like, "Stay home, read a book. I don't know. Help your parents. Stay at school, kids. You don't need to. One of you needs to be a mailman. Some of you should probably be like doctors or nurses. There's something else you could do, probably. Stay safe. Stay at school."
I definitely think that's like the point of this movie, obviously, and I think it hammers that point home pretty well. But I think that we have too many long stretches in this movie where there's nothing happening either in support or in opposition of that point. So the whole movie just feels like one really long slog of a preach on something that they kind of covered very early and hammered home very late. So there's a lot happening in this movie that does not need to be here, where I'm just like, at this point, I'm just like, this movie's good. I like this movie. I think there's a lot about this movie that does not need to be in this movie.
I disagree so much.
Well, hey, we'll get there. Let's talk about the undisputed worst part of this movie that isn't ass spread. And honey, Paul, I packed you clean underwear. Let's talk about the ending. This ending with at least Paul's death. We've already spoiled it. Paul's death is the worst thing.
No, it's pretty lame.
No,
it's pretty lame.
No,
it's pretty lame.
No. Thank you, Jack.
Okay, we have teams. Here we go. Here we go. This is the first official team up of Kingdom Come and whatever these dorks are called.
Waterloo. Here we go again.
Yeah, sure.
Water 2.
Okay.
Sure. For the purpose of the show, Water 2 versus Kingdom Come. Let's go.
Jack, throw up a banner.
Okay. Yeah.
Water 2, here we go again. Versus Kingdom Come. We're gonna wait. We're gonna put you under pressure here now. Keep going.
Damn you.
Do it.
Do the roar.
Do the roar.
I love you, Daddy.
I love you, Daddy.
I hate you both.
I love you, Daddy.
All right. Paul's death. Okay, try to defend Paul's death.
I think
you're writing
at the end of the day, the reason that you don't like it is that I think you guys are so far into it's cheesy thing, but I think at the end of the day it sort of works. As
cheesy. It's not my
issue. I think Paul's character is someone who is so like disillusioned and so broken down from war that when he's found the first sign of like pure life, he's like, I have lost, like this is what I've lost. And he goes and reaches out for it. And I think it's just so beautiful that like he knows what can happen. He's been through war. He knows how dangerous this is, but he needs some semblance of humanity. And that is what takes him out, is him fully like he forgets the rules of war. He forgets that if you're not fully nihilistic, you're dead. And then at second, he's gone. I think that's beautiful.
The nihilistic
I
character.
wish I saw the movie you watched, because that movie does not exist. That's not what All Quiet on the Western Front is whatsoever.
And those kids, like that character lives like longer than everybody, almost. Like if it weren't for him having a human connection, that character would still be alive. What are you talking about, Spence? Listen, I'm not like, okay, if you spend, let's say, 2 years in trench warfare, you're not coming out of your hidey hole for a freaking butterfly. That's the problem.
Yeah.
The problem is we've spent this whole movie in a hole. Like all of it. Like almost all of this film has been him in this trench with the guys going, man, do you think we'll get our orders soon? With the answer being no. And then they get orders. He survives the first one. He gets injured. And then he comes back. He sees a butterfly one time. And he's like, yes,
right.
This is it.
And the reason why it doesn't make any sense is that it betrays entirely the logic of the movie and the logic of the character Paul. It throws away everything Paul and this movie know about Paul and this movie. It throws away all logic for this one scene that ends up ending us in a place where I'm like, okay, we just betrayed the entire story of All Quiet on the Western Front for
Paul's not
a metaphor.
He knows what'll happen if he leaves the trench. He knows what'll happen.
Paul spent
like, listen, if you're telling me that Paul was suicidal at the end of it, then we can talk about it. But like,
sure, but like Paul spent all night in a hole with a man that he stabbed all night because he knew he couldn't get out unless he was going to get shot. So there's no way Paul is going to climb out of this hole to touch a butterfly. I'm sorry.
He didn't climb out of the fucking hole. He did. It's not like he went over the
Yes, he did.
Yes,
he did. Because it's the only way. That's the only way the sniper could have gotten to him. He didn't just reach out his hand and like, let's see what happens. He went out of the trench.
He literally,
he crawled out of the trench.
Jack, he crawls his head out of the trench, which is the only way he could have been killed by sniper fire. So what you just did, hold on, Jack, what I want you to do is, with the understanding that you have of this movie, let's say you are right, that he sticks his hand out of the trench to touch a butterfly. That's what you're saying, right?
And then he wouldn't have, he couldn't die that way.
You couldn't have shot him. So therefore, you are betraying the logic of the world with your explanation. So here's the thing, Jack. Either way, the ending should infuriate you because it makes no sense either in your line of thought or ours.
Anyway, I want to go back to like you basically said, oh, Paul would be suicidal to do this. He fucking is. He does not want to go back to war.
When is he?
He leaves his leave 2 days early to go back to the front. His leave's not up.
I'm going to ignore that point.
Yeah,
he literally goes back to war early.
He could have stayed at home and ended it there. He could have stayed home and written out his injury. No, he's like, I should probably just get back to the front. This is lame.
I think a lot of soldiers are like that. They don't know anything except the war, so they have to go back. And he hates being there, but it's all he knows. So when he sees the sign of life, and he basically said, like, this is my time has come. He knows the danger of what he's doing, and he accepts it.
Stop messiahing Paul. Like, this isn't Dune. Like,
this isn't Dune.
This absolutely is not Dune. So like, let's kind of break
the spice must flow.
Yeah, let the spice flow. But no, I don't think that's what this movie is. Like, I think literally the movie thinks that Paul for 1 second was an idiot. Yeah, and I think that's really what's going on. He was like, look, a butterfly. And then
I have the fucking clip right here.
Watch it yourself. I'll pull it up.
We don't want to get striked with copyrights.
No, I'm not gonna pull it up. But like, I am looking at the clip right here. He is looking through a hole at the butterfly and reaching his hand out.
Hey, Jack, you're missing the part where his head follows his hand out the hole.
Right out the clip.
Listen, Jack,
there's no way the sniper would have been like, Even if he shoots his hand, there's no way that's like a fatal injury. Because he's still in the trench.
We'll settle this after the
No!
Because
the final shot of the film implies that Paul is dead.
Jack,
Paul
understand
definitely died from being shot in
you
the
have
head by
entered a
sniper
losing
fire.
argument.
Yeah, I'm aware he got shot in the head. That's not what's that.
So Jack,
reaching out.
Wait.
This motion is not a kill shot. Like if he was just doing
not.
like this, he'd be injured. He'd go back home probably. But if he was like, let me get this butterfly here, that's a direct line. The freaking enemy sniper crawled out like, oh, easy kill shot. Here we go.
For real, yeah. Look at this noob.
No scope.
Yeah, literally.
Literally, I would not be surprised if the shot is him lining up the shot, and then the next clip that we don't see is him turning his head back and going. It just gets up, jumps around, does a 360.
It was the easiest kill that sniper had because some idiot was like coming out of the trenches.
Sense.
Yeah, it's the one part of the movie that makes absolutely no sense. And like, listen, I don't like the part where the French women prostitute themselves for bread and wine that are in a lake. But like,
regardless of a butthole, it's in lake.
Historically, something like that may have happened. Whereas I'm willing to believe that very few soldiers were like, ooh, a bunny rabbit. And then crawled out of the trench. That is the only thing saving them. That is the only thing that's keeping them alive at that moment in time, is the fact that they are standing at like below eye level with the ground. And just going, ooh, a bunny. I'm gonna pet it, and then getting shot. I refuse to believe that hey, Paul's an idiot. And that's in the movie. Like, that's crazy. That's absurd. I think you've lost this fight. This segment of the show is over. I'm just gonna call it because I'm also the host of the show. I'm a participant in this argument, but I'm gonna call it. Kingdom Come has won this one. Kingdom Come's undefeated.
This is rigged.
No, we let the chat
decide. Count the votes.
Hey Bar, who won that? Hey Bar, who won that debate?
Have you read Alex's emails?
Hang on. Hang on. We have someone backstage. Can you just give us? I don't know if you have your whiteboard, but could you just decide?
No, just put it in the private chat.
Anyways, what's the next segment of the show that we have while we're waiting for this anonymous commenter?
Your mom.
I mean, yeah, let's. What?
Damn you, Bar. Bar, you're such an unreliable 45-year-old man. I hate you.
Yeah. So, thank you, Bar. You're great.
Fuck you.
I was gonna say something that I was gonna regret.
Thanks.
I was gonna
say Andrew.
I was gonna say Bar. That's why your profile picture is more attractive than you are in real life. The point is, I don't feel that way. It's only show.
You haven't seen him in real life.
That's not how I feel, Bar. You're an amazing actor.
Only Charles Grodin is in real life.
Your work in Creed 2 should have been nominated for Best Supporting Actor in 2018.
Do we go to the rank?
I think overall we need to do our star ratings, don't we? And we also have the extra credit. We have 2 full.
Yeah, because me and Jack actually let's do extra credit because me and Jack,
we all watched the same thing.
Yeah, we did.
We all watched the Divorcee.
We all watched the Divorcee.
We all did extra credit for sure.
All right, Jack, hit the song.
All right.
Extra credit. Okay, so we all watched the Divorcee, and that's because Disraeli is a lost film, which is nuts. You cannot find Disraeli. And basically it came down to, do we want to watch the Best Actor winner or the Best Actress winner? And the Best Actor winner are gone, so we all watched the Best Actress winner. Actually, I think everyone was going to watch it anyway, but still. The Divorcee is mid as fuck. It's not great. I think it's actually a little misogynistic as a movie, where this movie that's supposed to be very women empowering and sexual freedom and liberation, the character who is sexually liberated is punished for it for the entire runtime and ends up going back to the dude that cheated on her first and made her feel like a whore for cheating on him after. I think that's kind of fucked up, and I don't really like that plot whatsoever. And also Norma Shearer is good. She's fine.
I like Divorcee
2.5 stars.
Yeah.
Wow. I had it at 3. I like the speeches that Norma Shearer gave. The plot is okay. So this is another adaptation. This is another adaptation for this year. Bar, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. I have said it a lot behind your back, but I didn't mean it. I swear. And by a lot, I mean I've said it's like 2 people, but we say it a lot. Is the thing. So the thing is that the Divorcee is another adaptation. You all right, Jack?
I'm fine. I'm just
okay. Just making sure. The Divorcee is another adaptation, the same year. It's about a book that like was very like, women, leave your husbands if he's cheating on you. Like, it'll be fine if you do it. But then like nothing happens after, like at all, really. Like she doesn't start madly sleeping with people. Which, like, if we remade the movie now, which is
what is sold in the plot synopsis.
Yeah, that's what I thought the movie was gonna be. Was like, one woman like in the 30s going, nah, I'm gonna hoe out for a minute just because like I can, because that's what she says she's gonna do. She's like, I'm gonna live my life like a man, and she just doesn't. She like goes, she gets on trains and stuff with dudes.
She gets on trains and stuff with dudes, and then she almost gets like she gets way too drunk around a dude. And the dude's about to take advantage of her, and then he gets kicked off the train, and that's like that's them being like, "Hey." But like, can I bring up a theory? Oh, sorry, Jack, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, and that moment had Alex actually very upset throughout, for the one moment.
What moment?
The part where the guy was standing in front of the door. It was more about the voice that the actor was using for.
Right. I hate that voice, and this is the problem with older cinemas. You have to like really confront people's biases at the time. I'm gonna hate a performance from any any black actor. If they talks like this, I'm gonna hate it. I really like. There's gonna be like a visceral hatred. And you know what? Let's talk about it. Recently, and I'm looking at you, Will Smith. Recently, in King Richard. Freaking Will Smith had this voice.
Will Smith, King Richard, terrible movie, by the way. Awful movie.
Terrible movie, shit movie. Adelaide and I watched together. What voice was Will Smith doing? No one else in the movie talked like that. His family, the people.
I think he's imitating actual Richard.
Why?
Williams.
Like, no one in the his family doesn't talk like that. So like, why?
I don't know. Does Richard Williams talk like that?
I don't know.
Let's look it up. If Richard Williams talks like that, then he's just imitating Richard Williams. Yeah, okay, then he's imitating Richard Williams. Yeah.
Guess what?
It's a little much, but he's doing like an imitation.
It is. But it's weird listening to it now, but even it's much weirder going back into the 30s and listening to the guy be like, oh no, nobody's gonna touch her today. I'm like sitting here and like my face is contorting to like
I remember watching that scene. And that character walks in, and I was like, oh, okay, so there's actually a black actor in a 30s movie. Okay. And then the voice happens. I was like, never mind. I thought for a second
it'll be a while before
I was like, I thought we were gonna get a nice representation.
Maybe positive, I don't know.
We'll see.
It's gonna be a slog to get a black character that we
My
like.
theory that I want to come back to though is I did a lot of research about the Divorcee, just out of curiosity. Norma Shearer as an actress had never played a part like this, and is very known for being a good girl actress, like playing all like the nice, pristine, character roles. And she's married to the head of MGM. And she got this part because she wanted to play something totally against type, which is probably why she won the Oscar, because she played something very against what she's known for being. But Irving Thalberg, who the honorary Oscar is named after, which I actually looking more into who that is. I think we really need to petition to change that, because this guy's a shitbag. The more you look into him, this guy does not like women. I'm going to tell you right now, I guarantee you he is a sexist person, because MGM produced the Divorcee. That was their Best Picture push. The movie that they won Best Picture with the year before, The Broadway Melody, same producer. I think in general, the book, from what it sounds like, is very feminist. And MGM getting this and Thalberg getting this, and for this to be the product, sadly does not shock me coming from Thalberg era MGM, because I feel like he grubbed it up a bunch so that it was like not about women. Get rid of your husbands that are cheating on you, and instead, once you cheat on them and realize that you doing exactly what they're doing makes you worse, so you should go back to them to become better and more whole. And I think that's like really like corrupting the point of what I assume the source material is about. And I suspect that has something to do with Irving Thalberg and MGM being the ones who made it. So
gross producers. I would never. The point, it's the point definitely got lost very early on in production. Like very, very early on in production. It's like a weird adaptation. It's like an opposite adaptation of like what they're it's like a Bizarro World adaptation. But Norma Shearer is fine. There's a character who gets so disfigured that we never see. And I find that really annoying.
I got really confused because I thought Norma Shearer was the one who got disfigured.
No.
And then she's in the whole movie unless she's not disfigured. But then the character who is disfigured showed up and they pull her veil back. She's completely fine.
Yeah, she's fine.
It is the exact same thing as what happens in like Ready Player One, where they're like, where like Olivia Cook is like, I'm hideous. You won't want to meet me in real life. And then she just has like a birthmark. And then she just has like a birthmark on her face. She just has a birthmark. And you're like,
Olivia Cook, fucking movie. You're fine. Movie. Like Olivia Cook, you're still Olivia Cook. You're fine.
Yeah, you're still very beautiful.
Absolutely
like,
fine.
What's wrong with you? So I'm like looking through the year that we had, right? We're looking at the actual like year of people. And we're probably all in agreement, all choir on the Lesser Front deserve to beat the divorcee, right?
Yes.
Hell yes.
Okay.
Sure.
There we go. So there you go. But like also look at the rest of them. Ernst Lubitsch, The Love Parade, and Irving Thalberg also produced The Big House alongside The Divorcee. And then Disraeli also being one of them. Also fun fact that I just found accidentally scrolling. Norma Shearer, who won Best Actress, her brother Douglas Shearer won an Oscar that year for Best Sound Recording for The Big House, making it the first pair of siblings to ever win Academy Awards, and it happened in year 3.
It's so big.
Good for being Shearers.
House.
But yeah, like looking at this year in general, it doesn't look super remarkable. Like this feels like the first year where you see like, oh yeah, there's one movie of quality that got nominated and it steamrolled.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're gonna have that situation. Though I have heard great things about Disraeli. Unfortunately, no one will ever be able to see that movie.
Okay, actually, which is me to a point that I was going to talk about earlier. I tried to explain to somebody what the show is, about the challenges of doing this show, because these movies aren't really available anywhere. Like we're pirating them, a lot of them, all of them. I think really is.
Well, most of these movies are also at this point.
Yeah, they're available, so it doesn't
True,
matter.
but what I'm also saying is that these movies are technically public domain. Most of these that we're watching right now, like Wings, The Divorcee, Sunrise, All Quiet, all these movies are starting to enter the public domain like this year. So we're like kind of entering that point where like technically we're not committing crime.
We are the future.
Yeah, we are.
But then I think I was talking about.
I think I'm okay.
I think I was talking about The Patriot, and I was like, yeah, there's just some movies that we want to see that we just can't. And the person that I was talking to was like, why not? I said, well, it's from 1929. That movie doesn't exist anymore. It exists as reviews, as like written media. It exists in like maybe a script is available somewhere, but we literally cannot watch it. We can think about it. We can like look at the synopsis for it, but that movie does not exist anymore. And I think that is really frustrating.
It is really frustrating. I do want to point out also a thing that we should note, or at least I will. I'll do the noting for us. Is which studios are winning Best Picture, and like who's winning Best and who is winning Best Picture. So the first year it was Famous Players Lasky, which is an American motion picture distribution company that was founded in 1916, and Wings is their only major release that you can find. And then MGM winning for the Broadway Melody. This year is the first year that Universal Pictures won Best Picture. Universal still stand the test of time as one of the top 3 movie studios in the world right now. Won Best Picture for this one, beating Cosmopolitan, Warner Brothers, who were nominated for the first time, MGM, and Paramount Famous Lasky, which they bought famous players, Lasky, which then became Paramount. So there you go. We are going to also see other studios like RKO come up, and I will tell you when we get to an RKO one, the story of RKO, which is my favorite story about a movie studio ever, because it is the definition of how to not make movies.
Rico.
Another thing is that this as a film history show is going to become really weird because I think we're all really interested in it. Some of these studios, most of them actually, don't exist anymore. They've either been bought up or like just went out of business, and then a lot of their stuff was destroyed. That's what happened.
Some of these are going to keep going. Like the funniest thing is like MGM exists, but it now is owned by Amazon. Yeah, it's now Amazon presents MGM. But like, and Fox is one that we're going to see win Best Picture a lot in the next several years, and now that is Disney. Yeah, Disney now owns that. So you're like, okay,
became a different thing.
So this is like one of the only ones. This is one of the only ones where it's like, yeah, Universal is still the company it was 100 years ago. Like Universal is still here. Warner Brothers is still here. Even though Warner Brothers has merged with a bunch of different companies over time, it's still Warner Brothers.
Isn't Universal a Comcast company now? Weren't they bought?
Well, what I'm saying
is, film studios is still their film studios.
Universal is still like Universal Pictures. Like they've bought other things, but Universal has never been bought by another film studio. There's never been a Fox purchase the way like Disney for Universal or Warner Brothers or anything like that. Like they are still their entities.
That makes sense.
Whereas like and Paramount is still here somehow. I don't know how Paramount's still here in this current age. After you would think that losing the MCU the way they did would sink Paramount, but they're still here off the back of like Nickelodeon and Star Trek shows. It's like it.
And
Star Trek shows
and Survivor.
That's true.
And Survivor.
Best show.
Yes.
And Survivor, the world's definition of like sloppy Joe.
Have you seen it?
That's what it is.
Have you seen it?
No, Survivor is literally television's sloppy Joe. It is generic, fine, and slop for people.
That is ridiculousness.
It's not.
Yeah, it is.
It's not. It is literally, it is the nothing burger of TV for dumb people. It's sloppy Joe for dumb people of TV. That's what it is. You could be eating the sloppy Joe that is Survivor, or you could be eating like a gourmet burger in like anything else. But no, sloppy Joe. It's the Bachelorette, Survivor, the Masked Singer. They're all sloppy Joe. They're all sloppy Joe. Yeah, they are.
Have you seen any of those?
They're all sloppy Joe. The Voice, American Idol, America's Got Talent, all of them. Put them all in a blender.
All of the shows.
Love Island. Put them all in a blender.
Fuck you.
No. Hang on. Any show where you're just tuning in to see who gets eliminated, or if there's a fist fight, you're really. I mean, you're probably looking for the eliminations. You're actually just waiting for a fist fight, which makes me kind of agree with Coho. I don't mean to make this.
And that's why I'm gonna piss Jack off now too. Put hockey. Hockey is the sloppy Joe of sports. Put it in the blender with it. Because all you're doing is watching hockey to see who punches who. You don't give a shit about the puck in the goal.
That is absolute bullshit. Okay, if that's
who gives a shit about the stick in the goal and the puck? You want to see Wayne Gretzky punch a dude in the tape.
You want you guys to drop their gloves and fight each other? Then that's fine. I watch hockey because I want to see the Oilers kick Calgary's ass. I care about the puck. I care about how if the Oilers score. I don't
call that a Zamboni.
Any hockey game I've seen, I've only seen because I've been told that occasionally someone's neck gets sliced open and it's like a real thing. That's why I watch hockey.
Back in like whatever year.
Doesn't
happen every now and then.
Can't say the same joke again, but like quieter.
No. That's enough out of you. All right.
But I'm not wrong.
Like we really tangented.
Oh, we should rank the extra credit before we move on.
The divorcee. I've got that.
The divorcee.
The divorcee. Do we think it is better or worse than? I'm the only one who saw In Old Arizona.
You're the only one seen In Old.
It is better than In Old Arizona.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you.
The divorcee. Do we think the divorcee is better or worse than Sunrise? Because I don't think it's better than Sunrise.
Oh no, absolutely not.
I remember you guys really like Sunrise, so I don't think that.
Yeah, no.
So I would say the new ranking then would be Sunrise, The Divorcee, and In Old Arizona being the ranking of the extra credit so far.
I agree.
Cool. That was a really long extra credit segment. And then
garbage television somewhere in the middle of it.
We're just giving shit to Spence for watching the sloppy show of television.
Yes. Thank you, Bart. Wayne Gretzky wouldn't punch a guy. He get Dave Semenko to do it for him.
Then he's a bitch.
Then he's a bitch. Wayne Gretzky's a bitch. Get to know Wayne Gretzky.
Punch yourself, Mike.
Wayne Gretzky is a pussy. It's good to know. All right, let's move on. So, our star ratings. What were they? I'll give All Quiet on the Western Front a 3.5.
Bitch, dirty whore.
Because I just think it's too long. I think it could have been a 4 if you cut like 30 minutes out of this movie.
Yeah, you've got 3.5.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more generous than Coho. I gave it a full 4. It needs a sharp pair of scissors. I think that's mostly what this is about. There's no standout performance really, but everyone's like pretty darn good in it. It just there's at least 20-30 minutes that I would definitely cut out, and an extra 10 that I'd be like, do I want to cut that out? Maybe. Just the scissors. There's so many scissors. Spence.
I like it probably more than the rest of y'all. I gave it a 4.5 because I think, well, it's not perfect. I think there's definitely elements I would cut. I think that its positives are so great that it's hard not to like. I respect it more than I like it, but I would watch this let me rephrase. I would happily rewatch this. It's not a movie that I love, but I think it's such an incredible amount of quality in the 130 minutes that's going on here, or whatever it is. That being said, I will say later where it ranks my overall Best Picture ranking because none of y'all are going to be happy.
I'm worried. Jack, where is it on your ranks?
I also gave it a 4.5. I echo everything Spence said. While it's not perfect and there are some elements that could be cut out or condensed, I thought that it was a very well-made film and very, very impressive for the time. And there's some really well-directed scenes. I really love the scene where they follow the boots through the different battles. I think that scene's great. And yeah, no, it's a great film. Can we go to Matthew's rating then?
Yeah, do we have, from Beyond the Void, Matthew? Where are your rankings? Oh, wow, another 4. That's crazy. That's insane. 4 stars for Matthew. So,
which if I'm right, that puts our score at 4.1 for this.
You fuckers.
Let me do that sweet speed. We had a 4.5 plus another one.
9 plus an 8 is 17. Be 20.5.
Yeah, 20.5. Yeah, 4.1. 4.1 even. So yeah, it's this honestly, which is like a pretty nice ranking, at least so far for this show. Where we have
our next highest is 2.7.
Why did we block Andrew Barr for 5 minutes? Wait, why did we time out Barr?
Wait, what did we do?
That would
because he insulted Wayne Gretzky.
No, that's because Wayne Gretzky is a bitch canon. So that
he's a pussy.
Yeah.
Punch a guy yourself if you're really that mad.
Greatest player to ever live. Go fuck yourself. Okay.
He's a pussy though.
Who cares about sports?
He's a pussy. So yeah, that's All Quiet on the Western Front. What do we watch next week?
I'm glad you asked. Next week is Cimarron. Which actually you get to do right? That's an RKO, I think, right?
It's RKO. It is. It's the first win for RKO Radio Pictures, which, if anyone is asking, still exists today.
It does?
It does. If you want to hear the story of RKO Radio Pictures, we will link my article that I
No, you're gonna read. You're gonna do it live.
You want me to do it live? Okay, then do you want me to do it next week or do it right now?
Next week. We're not doing it now.
Next week, I will live read the article about the history of RKO and why Walt Disney specifically, killed the movie studio and what are they doing now? I'll tell you. The last movie they made was in co-production with A24 in the year 2016.
Shit.
What movie?
And it stars Haley Steinfeld. It's called Barely Lethal.
Yes!
No.
Yes! Yes!
Okay.
That is the most recent production from RKO as of like 3-4 years ago when I did research.
All right, so so look forward to that when we talk about Cimarron
What is
next week.
the extra credit we're all doing? Because I'm doing Skippy.
I
I'm
would probably also
probably-
do Skippy.
I'm also gonna do Skippy. Get another best director.
Yeah, we're gonna watch the first comic book movie ever nominated for Best Picture. Skippy.
Okay. Is that facts? Is it?
Yeah,
Because it's a comic strip. Are we counting
that counts. Comic strips count as comic book movies. Yeah.
That Warzone.
Dick Tracy.
Warzone
Dick Tracy
eligible.
counts.
Is that what it is?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Dick Tracy counts as a comic book movie, and that's based on a comic strip.
Fine. So yeah, Skippy, I guess, is what we're all gonna be watching for the Warzone matches that everyone but me is gonna have.
Also has the youngest Best Actor nominee in the history of the category in DC star Jackie Cooper, who was 9 years old. Jackie Cooper went on to play Perry White in the Superman movies.
That's true. A screenplay from Joseph L. Mankiewicz. That'll be fun. After that, we have Grand Hotel, starring Greta Garbo, which I'm actually really excited about because I have a Greta Garbo.
Back to MGM winning.
Yeah, actually. And then after that, we have Cavalcade,
which is the first win for Fox.
And then after that, it's gonna get really exciting because
we hit the Capras, baby. Then we meet my boy Frank Capra, one of the greatest directors to ever live, and his first Best Picture win with It Happened One Night, a movie that kicks so much ass.
He only watched after I forced him to watch it.
Jack, stop blocking people for calling Wayne Gretzky bitches. Calling Wayne Gretzky a bitch. Actually, hang on. What extra credit? Because for Cavalcade.
Oh, we asked about the extra credits for those.
Yeah. So Grand Hotel. The other nominees are Aerosmith, Bad Girl, The Champ, 5-Star Final, 1 Hour with You, Shanghai Express, and The Smiling Lieutenant. None of which sounds super interesting.
I forgot that Grand Hotel was the first year that we had more than 5 nominees ever.
I've heard really good things about The Champ.
I am going to be watching The Champ because that is the year where there were 2 Best Actor winners. It was a time between Frederick March for Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, which I have seen, and the other one is Wallace Beery for The Champ. So I'll probably be watching The Champ to see which one was better in the tie.
And then Cavalcade, we have 42nd Street, A Farewell to Arms, I Am a Fugitive from a Chain Gang, Lady for a Day, Little Women, The Private Life of Henry VIII, She Done Him Wrong, Smilin' Through, and State Fair. I'll be honest, it's going to be really easy for me. I'm going to be watching Little Women.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing for me. This will probably be the first year.
Little Women.
This will probably be the first year where I watch multiple extra credits.
Sure.
Because I will definitely be watching I Am a Fugitive from a Chain Gang.
Yes.
I also am very interested.
Don't do it, Jack.
I'm also very interested in 42nd Street, which was the other big nominee. However, I'm also interested in watching Lady for a Day, which was the first Frank Capra movie to be nominated for picture and director and stuff like that. And I'm also interested in State Fair, which is about the Iowa State Fair.
If you set up for our Patreon, you can watch Coho watch all of them in one day.
Here's the thing: I'm not gonna commit to watching all of those necessarily, but those are all the ones that I'm interested in. And what I will do is I will put up a poll of those options, and I will let the people choose which one they think I should watch most. So here are the options again, because I'm gonna say Jack's gonna do it. I'm gonna make Jack do it. Jack's gonna put the poll for me. It's going to be either 42nd Street, I Am a Fugitive from a Chain Gang, Lady for a Day,
Kinky,
The Private Life of Henry VIII, or State Fair.
Okay.
Those are the 5 options, and I will definitely consider whatever one wins the poll will be the one that I will prioritize to watch for the show. And then if I can get to any of the other ones, I will also watch those, because this is the first year where I'm actually really interested in almost every movie nominated for Best Picture.
Why is this so much about this show about Janet Gaynor? The point, yes. So yeah, I'll probably just stick with Little Women. I kind of just want to see all the different adaptations of that. Great. And then we get to. Actually, the 30s are great. The 20s is kind of a bad time, but now we're getting into the Capra of it all, and we're gonna be having.
We're getting to when film got to be fun and have a sense of humor. That was funny, and I'll tell you now, Bar. I'll let you know my extra credit for the year of It Happened One Night. is The Thin Man. I'm watching The Thin Man for you, Bar.
Don't feed him.
The Thin Man is a movie that I actually think I would like, and it's the only one nominated for Best Picture that year that sounds like a good movie.
I have been told that I must watch Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, so I will.
You do, but that's 1939, and I'm also gonna rewatch that one in the year 1930. Here's the thing: 1939 is the other year in the 30s where I'll probably watch like 5 extra credits.
Okay.
Like I'll rewatch Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, and then I'll probably also watch Stagecoach. I'll rewatch Wizard of Oz. I'll probably watch Goodbye, Mr. Chips.
Yo, 39 is a great year, actually. I might watch a lot of those.
That was a good year. But I have to watch Gone with the Wind in 4 1-hour segments, like it's a Netflix mini.
You know what?
Like it's the Snyder Cut.
Watching 2 hours.
The Snyder Cut.
For
1934.
watch until the end of Act 1 and then watch Act 2, because that actually is like 2 different.
What'd you say, Spence?
For 1934, I'm gonna watch the most nominated film that year, which is One Night of Love. Only so I don't feed Andrew Barr's ego of watching the Thin Man movies. You gave it against me in Warzone, and guess what? It didn't fucking matter. You didn't give it to me because they're shit. I don't care about them.
Did he watch a Ginger's Rogers musical to get it?
He gave me like comedy on Opponent's Choice or something, like an idiot. So,
Spence, you know what you could do is for 1934, you could watch The Gay Divorcee and then have your own How Gay Was My Valley.
Let's debate. Yeah, everyone watch The Gay Divorcee, and then we'll see if it's any better than The Divorcee, and we'll just say, is it better if it's gay or if it's?
Is it better if it's gay or not? Well, I won't be watching The Gay. I'll be watching.
I won't either. I'll be honest. I meant for Spence to do that.
Gay, like.
Hey, Spence, you know what you should watch for the meme? When we get to 1935, you should watch The Broadway Melody of 1936, the first sequel to The Broadway Melody.
I can find a lot of high vaulted ceilings and a rope.
I'm going to watch Top Hat that year. I'll let y'all know. Don't worry. I'm going to watch the Irving.
Okay, we have devolved into a mental health crisis, so I'm just going to cut us off. So for everyone that's on this show, or Matthew Chen, who is considering doing another rewatch of Barely Lethal. I just talked to him about it. He's down.
Well, now he will watch it because now he will know it's the last film of RK Pictures.
Yeah, at this point, it's film history. We have to talk about it and watch Barely Lethal. I really don't want to. So, Jack, what's your star sign?
Cancer.
Adelaide, what's your star sign?
Gemini.
Goho, what's your star sign?
I'm a spicy Sagittarius.
And I have been a Taurus this whole time. So tune in next week for the thing we have said before, and tune in the weeks after because, I mean, it's Sunday. What are you going to do? Get a date? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Jack, take us out, baby.
I do wish we could chat longer, but I'm having an old friend for dinner. Bye.